I felt like I was being deprived of the daddy.
Yeah. No one will save you. So I'll just set the scene. When this goes out, we're going to be a couple of days away from the 22nd of September when it hits screens on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus here in the UK. How excited are you for audience to see your second outing as writer and director?
Yeah, I'm excited for it to be out there for people to see it, and I can stop talking about it, and it's just there.
You can't be bored already of talking about it. Have you been busy?
It's not bored. It's like there's a lot of like dancing around, not talking about certain parts of the movie, and so it'll be nice when everyone's on the same page about what the movie is.
Okay, just in case I put my big fat foot in it and reveal something that isn't to be revealed, just give me a look and I'll shut up.
Sure.
Yeah, because I do not want to ruin it. I walked in knowing very, very little about it, only the bare bones of it, and it was just a great experience.
Good.
So what? I'm going to hand it over to you. Why don't you tell me what the film is about?
Sure. No One Will Save You is about a young woman played by Caitlyn Jenner, who is a little bit of a recluse, has kind of manicured her existence in a very specific way to avoid her local town at all costs, but is living a pretty quiet and happy life when a few minutes into the movie, an alien walks on her front door, and then it all goes to hell.
Yeah. I think
am I allowed to swear on this show? I never know.
That's okay, fine.
Cool. I know hell doesn't count, but
if you'd edited yourself to heck, I'd be like, you don't need to do that.
There you go.
It all goes to heck. 8 minutes in, I counted when the alien walks in the door. Yeah. So tell me where the idea came from. Is this something that's been percolating for a while in your head, or is it a lightning strike moment where you came up with this?
It was kind of two different things that I married together. I had the character of Bryn for a while that I was trying to figure out what to do with, and then I had the idea of starting an alien invasion movie like this, kind of 8 minutes in, and then kind of realized, for whatever reason, that they complemented each other in an interesting, unexpected way, and then they kind of got married in my brain. And then I wrote it really fast once that happened, but then right as we were starting to put it together, COVID hit, so then we kind of got paused for a couple of years, and then in 21 we got going again, or 22. I can't remember. It's all
we've all
now,
tried
but,
we tried to bury all that. We're just let's never mention the P word again.
Yeah, it was. I did. I did a Netflix animated show, Cocaine Bear, and this all in a row. So it was a very intense couple of years, and so I've been on big strike nap time for the last 4 months, I guess. So I'm almost human again.
So when you say you wrote this quickly, what's quickly for you? How quick is quick?
Probably like a month and a half. I'm slower than I used to be when I was younger, because I have a family now. And I don't pull the all-nighters like I used to be able to do. But yeah, it was pretty fast. I remember I was forever waiting for my other movie to come out, and so I was writing a lot because I was desperate to get another job, but then no one would hire me until the movie came out. And so it was a lot of furiously writing and trying to figure out what to do with my life.
And to have something ready, I guess. Once the movie landed, you can go, and here's this and this and this. I've got all this for you guys.
Yeah, but then COVID hit, and the movie came out in the middle of COVID, so it was a very weird time. I know this movie is coming out in the middle of us double strike. So I've gotten my lot in life.
Yeah. How is it out there? Is it feeling?
It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a bummer that Caitlyn is the whole movie, and she's not able to do press right now because she's standing with her union, which is I support fully. But it's she's if you've seen the movie, you know how hard she's worked on this movie. She's a producer on the movie too, and so it's and she's much better at being the face of the movie than this old nerd. So it's a bummer not to have her, but I think people can see how great she is in the movie. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this stuff wraps up soon and they give us everything we're asking for, because it's not a lot, I don't think.
Yeah, it's mad and it's infuriating. I absolutely hope you get what you want, both the actors and the writers. Let's go back to No One Will Save You. It's a movie that knows it's sci-fi. So obviously that's come from yourself. Were you a sci-fi fan growing up? Is this a genre that you enjoyed as a kid?
Oh, big. Yeah, hardcore. Yeah, I was a huge and am a huge nerd. I mean, Jurassic Park was the big nuclear bomb in my brain. But even beyond that, there was the original King Kong and Raiders and Star Trek, specifically The Next Generation when I was growing up. And then I just loved. I couldn't get enough of all like even both movies, books, all that nerdy. Nothing's changed. So
yeah. Well, there's so much in here. It's I'm not gonna lie. I needed a lie down afterwards. I needed a real moment, because it is an intense 95 minutes. It does not let up. How
and
challenging?
5 of those are credits.
Huh? 5 of those are credits. Yeah.
I was really I one of my big failings, I think, is I really wanted the movie to be under 90 minutes, and I think we got to like 87 or 86 or 87, and then the credits were so long contractually because of like how the distance or how long everything has to be on screen that it went over, and it was such a like heartbreak when I had my runtime and I was just like 87, like people are gonna click that shit. And then when the credits came in and I was like, can't the credits, because I thought I was gonna do like when the credits are all on like one card kind of thing. And then they're like, no, we have to, for union and all these different things, have it be this way. And then I was just like, oh no, I could have cut 2 more minutes. I could have. I mean, we cut this thing hard, but every time it says like 93 or whatever, I'm always just like, it's really 87, but what are you gonna do?
Even at 87 minutes, though, I mean, it's relentless. Like, how challenging is it to sustain that level of tension for 87 minutes?
It was a lot of pushing and pulling, because I think sometimes you could cut it too hard, and it just feels like an art installation. Like you're not part of the experience. You're just kind of watching everything happen instead of being inside of it with Bryn. So that was a really fun thing that Gabe Fleming, my editor, and I worked on a lot, was always wanting it to be really relentless, but then trying to figure out the space where, look, we're lucky enough that we have Deaver, and give her the room to be Caitlyn Deaver, and to show off what she can do, and some trying to make it feel like she's not like a rag doll that we're just throwing around and could be any actor. It's it's special that it's Caitlyn, and so I think it was figuring out how to make it relentless, that you were really holding Caitlyn's hand in the movie and not just watching this thing bounce around on screen.
I mean, I loved her. I loved her. I think I first came across her in Dope Sick. I thought she was absolutely fantastic in that miniseries. Here, she's a phenomenon. I mean, it's like it's incredible. Like the amount of empathy and the understanding you have for that character. Not that you would do this, but you could almost take the aliens out and have a fascinating. Which is, I guess, what you were saying about originally. She was in another movie.
I think that is what all genre movies that work need to kind of be able to do. You know, like I think, you know, my favorite genre movies, you could, like, I would have watched E.T. without E.T. You know, like that, watching that family, like that first 15 minutes with that family and dad's in Mexico and everything, I'm like, oh, I'm all in. And then you add the alien and it's great. And so I think that for me is the hope and the goal. It's like, you know, would I have booked Caitlin Dever to do this character if it was the Sundance indie drama about this girl with this troubled past kind of thing? I like to think probably, because Caitlin, I think, really, she loved the aliens and everything, but she really loved the character, and I think that's, to me, the markings of a good genre movie, where if you can take them out of science fiction and live with them in any genre, you're usually doing okay, I think.
You've mentioned the aliens, and what I love about this is we can talk about the aliens, because this is not is it aliens or is it something else? Is it in our head? It's like, no, these are fucking aliens, and here's one right now. So the Greys, it's your sort of, it's your classic alien, the one that we know when we think aliens. We're like, oh, the Greys. Were there conversations that you had about whether you were going to do that, or whether you were going to do something new with the aliens, something different?
I always wanted to start with the Grey, for sure, because I just felt like it was it's one of my favorite creature designs, because it's, you know, weirdly based on fact, or at least based on, you know, the accounts in Roswell and whatever. But then I just felt like, you know, we get like a dozen alien movies a year, and they're great. Like, I love the little dudes in Landscape with Invisible Hand, and Jules is really cool. Like, you know, there's so many cool ones even this year, but I was just like, I felt like I was being deprived of the daddy. You know. So it was, I always wanted to start there, because I also thought it'd give the audience a really great opportunity, that Caitlin in the audience, 5 minutes in the movie, you see a glimpse of it, and everyone goes, it's an alien, on the same page, done. It's not a it's not an intruder, or it's an intruder, but it's not a human intruder. And you're not like wondering if it's like a mutant or anything. It's like, this is it. And then we can add bonus features, we can add subspecies, we can do all that kind of stuff. But it was a really nice way to just cut to the chase, get everyone on the same page, we're in the movie together, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not touching the subspecies thing, because I think that is a spoiler. So I'm gonna park that, because I do love what you've done with that, and I also love how sinister they are, because like, these are aliens with a plan. And you know, they're not like the aliens from Signs, which invade a planet that's 70% water and allergic to water. And I say that with a lot of love for Signs, by the way.
I love Signs, yeah.
It's great. But these aliens, the way they communicate, the sound design on this movie, oh, it's incredible.
So good.
Yeah. And also the score as well. I mean, the whole thing, it's good.
It was really important to us that we just made them feel like they were smart enough to build a ship that could get them here. You know? Which I feel like a lot of those movies that you kind of meet them and they're weird looking guys, and you're kind of like, maybe. But really, that was something we really wanted to do. Is like, it felt like there was a plan, and you know, they're talking to Caitlin the whole movie. She just can't understand what they're saying, which was really fun. But they also, just the idea of like, you know, even when they're talking, Caitlin's like, oh, they're beyond me. I'm screwed. And that being something that was scarier than, I mean, look, we have a bunch of, you know, jump scary, you know, claws and roars and all that kind of stuff, but having a big element of it being like, this alien is talking at me and is kind of bored with me and is more interested in these other things in the room, because I'm such an insignificant thing to him. That was a really fun challenge to kind of convey, like, yeah, they could have built a ship and come here and been like, okay, it's ours now. So.
Yeah. You mentioned that when it appears at the start, and it's, you know, we're getting glimpses of it, it's petrifying. I mean, it really is that relatable fear of finding a stranger in your house. And that sort of the moment where you sort of try and brush it off, you try and normalize it. You go, it's like I think she thinks it's raccoons in the bin or something, and then that's that moment where it ain't that. It is something. Something's gone wrong. did you tap into sort of any of your own fears about having your home invaded when it came to writing and directing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always the anyone that lives anywhere. It's like it's funny. It's like it doesn't have to be even like a sinister thing for it to be really like if I walked home and I found Tom Hanks just randomly in my living room, it would not be great. Like I love Tom Hanks, but I would also be very freaked out that someone was in my space without my permission.
Yeah.
And so then you just make it worse when it's aliens. But I think that's always like the fear. I mean, it could be a rat or a spider, or it can be anything where you're just like, I did not sanction this, and now it's here. And so yeah, especially as a homeowner and now as a parent too, it's doubly anxiety. I'm anxious about everything. So
Yeah, I mean, it got me. That story really got me because I live on my own and I've got a plan. Like if I ever sort of look down the corridor and I see someone, I lock the door and I climb up the side wall. I've literally worked out my escape plan. And I was watching this going, it's good. It's good to have that plan. That's a good plan to have.
Yeah, and that was part of the fun with for a while. Caitlyn does just think it's an animal outside, and we cut out a little scene at the start where in the morning, like her trash bins are dumped over, and you see little raccoony type footprints. But like her kind of like, oh, this again, and then she kind of almost walks directly into the problem. And then her kind of thinking, okay, it's a person, and then her quickly realizing it's a different problem, kind of really does throw any of her gamesmanship for a loop where she's like, I'm so like baffled and confused on top of being terrified that my plans are all out the window. And so that was a really fun thing about, trying to make sure she felt really smart the whole time, but also believable in terms of like sometimes things can happen where you're like, I would need 5 minutes to just gather myself and figure this out, but she doesn't get that.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, fantastic. Caitlyn Diva is brilliant. It's a great movie. It lands on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus here in the UK, September the 22nd. Thank you so much for watching this interview. I'd love it if you would check out some of the other interviews on our channel. They're all fascinating and unique trips to the movies with some wonderful, wonderful guests. And if you would like to find out more, do hit us up on our social channels. We are at Trip to Movies Pod. That's at Trip to Movies Pod on all social media with lovely content on there. And you can get in touch with us if you so wish. Thanks again.